Hi everyone and welcome to Upcycle Tech. AMD has been the main craze for budget PC enthusiasts for quite some time due to their price affordability, but now it has me thinking. In today's video we will be building an Intel i5-10400F gaming PC for around £600 using good quality parts. The PC is featuring RGB parts and an EK AIO, which I'm really excited to see. We will also be using the Western Digital SN750 NVMe, and for the case we are using a micro ATX. Now let's get to the build. To start off with, we are using the Aerocool Aero 1 Mini Frost Micro ATX case. It features 4 RGB fans with 3 at the front and 1 at the back. The case has a white and black colour scheme going around it with a carbon fibre look at the front. On the top of the case we have 2 USB 3 ports, headphone and microphone jack, 2 LEDs and power and reset. On the back we have the ATX PSU support, 4 PCI slots, space for a 120mm fan and a cutout for our IO shield. The case also has tempered glass that has a different way of securing itself to the case. Instead of the screws going through the window, they are screwed in on the back. Powering this system we are using the Intel i5-10400F CPU that costs £123.99. That is a very competitive price. We will be benchmarking this CPU soon, so stay tuned and subscribe to see more content like PC builds and many more tech videos. The CPU features 6 cores, 12 threads, 2.9 GHz with boost to 4.3 GHz, 12 meg cache and is designed for socket LGA 1200. Let's get this box opened and see what's inside. Inside the box we have our standard Intel heatsink, information leaflets with our Intel sticker and of course the processor. For the motherboard we are using an Aorus B460M Pro Micro ATX Socket 1200 motherboard. For the price of £90, it's a great budget option for PC enthusiasts out there. The motherboard also features an integrated IO shield for easy installation. On the motherboard we also have a steel PCIe slot for extra strength for a heavy graphics card to go in. We are going to start by putting the Intel CPU into the socket by lifting the lever and inserting the CPU. Intel sockets are more delicate than AMD, so we need to be careful when putting it in. Once put in, we will pull down the lever and the black plastic clip should fall off by itself. We are going to prepare the water cooler on the back of the case for install shortly. Next, we are going to remove the back case fan and move it to the top of the case. On the top of the case we have space for 2 120mm case fans, but instead we will have one at the top as there is plenty of airflow in the case. We will remove the other side panel to make it easier to feed cables through soon. With us having to add extra standoffs for the motherboard, we are going to place the motherboard in with 8 screws. I find that an integrated IO shield is far easier to install than a standalone IO shield. We chose to go with Micro ATX as I would say it is the sweet spot for something not too big or small. The board has plenty of features and also has USB Type-C on the back, which will help with VR gaming later on. To cool the CPU we have an EK AIO 120mm RGB cooler. For £73 it's a fantastic buy with the quality of EK. The AIO has a drain and refill hole on the radiator when it requires maintenance. Opening the box, we have our instructions, which are quality and in detail, mounts for Intel or AMD, and the cooler itself. We need to start by installing the bracket on the motherboard for the cooler to be secured onto it. Next, we are going to install the EK Varda fan onto the radiator, just to make it a little easier for it to be installed onto the case. For the cooler, we decided to install it on the back of the case for optimal cooling. We decided to go with a 120mm water cooler because once graphics cards go down in price, we will install a water-cooled graphics card with the radiator on top of the case. We have two brackets to install on the pump for it to go on the motherboard. Once that's done, we will lower it and start putting the thumb screws to lock it on. Installation was easy for this, and for me personally it's my first time installing a water cooler.
Okay.
We are going to start by lowering the water block onto the CPU and secure it to the motherboard with the 4 thumb screws provided. The EK water cooler has a thick radiator and feels sturdy, which is expected from EK. The nearest priced 120 AIO we could find was a Corsair H60, but the EK was a much better buy. The fans are set to pull air in from the front and push it out the back and top. Now that's done, we lift the case and turn it around to get to the power supply cutout for install. For this PC, we are using an XPG PYLON 650 watt power supply that was bought for £48. That's a bargain! However, best quality. When buying a power supply, you should make sure you get a name branded one by a known company. This power supply is using Japanese capacitors and scores well on the Cybernetics website, scoring silver in the UK on 230 volts. It's non-modular, which means we will have some unused cables, but for the price it was a good deal. We also have 54 amps on the 12 volts rail, which is about right but not exaggerated. The power supply forms as specified, and I would recommend this to anyone building a budget PC or a replacement of an old one. Let's screw it in with the 4 screws provided so it doesn't keep coming out of place. For the secondary drive, we have a 2021 Seagate Barracuda 2TB hard drive. It features 256 megabytes cache and is also very quiet. It's not as quiet as an SSD of course, but quiet in terms of older generations of hard drives. We will be using this to store games and large files. It's in a slim format which helps the cable management. The cables can be neatly tucked away in the cage. In order to pull it out, it did require the case front foot to come off in order to get to the cage. We are going to start preparing the NVMe drive for install. We will unscrew the heatsink and put that to one side. It has got some weight for something small, so hopefully will help keep it cool. For the main boot drive, we have got a Western Digital SN 750 500GB SSD. For £58 on Amazon, it was a must buy. The SSD produces fast read speeds of 3,470 megabytes per second, which will mean a fast experience on Windows. The SSD does come with an optional cost extra from Western Digital for a heatsink, but the motherboard has one already, so we are okay.
Why is it like that? I haven't bent it, have I?
No. I'm going to keep that in the recording.
What?
I haven't bent it, have I?
Kurt is going to sort a few cables out to make it neater. With that done, we will be using 2 sticks of 8GB XPG Spectrix D60G RGB RAM. We have used this RAM before, and for £70 it's a great buy. The RAM will be going into slot 2 and 4. Due to the coronavirus, graphics card prices are ridiculous everywhere, so we had to get something used and search every minute. We managed to find 2 boxed AMD 7870 2GB graphics cards for £90, working out at £45 each. We will be using one for this build temporarily until prices drop. It is the GHz Edition, which will help it out a bit. The graphics card features 3 fans to keep it cool, and I have to say, as this is recorded, the GPU when being used for DaVinci or basic programs will run at 25 degrees, which is a great temperature. I have to say that the person looked after this graphics card well for the age that it is. For the graphics card, we are going to install it into the first PCIe slot. Lastly, the GPU requires 2 6-pin PCIe connectors. We will install them and cable tie it to make it neater. Once that's done, it will be time to turn on the PC and see if there's life. Exciting! Here is the PC so far with everything ready to go. Let's switch on the power supply, turn on the machine and see what happens. Woohoo! It works! Now that's turned on and posting correctly, let's put the side panels on and close it up. Here are some shots of it on my desk. It's quiet and very quick and looks great in the dark. We will be running some benchmarks in the upcoming weeks of the PC to see how well it performs. Time to peel off the satisfying film on the glass. Whilst I put this Intel sticker on the case, it's time to end this video. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this. We have nearly hit 100 subscribers, which is amazing, and thank you so much to all who support us and enjoy our content. Till then, we will see you in the next one.